What next for Derby County? Now, Derby County secured survival just a few days ago, and what a decision it was to bring in John Eustace to replace Paul Warne. And what a job John Eustace has done. Derby County, over the course of the last 11 games, have been in the top 6 when it comes to the form table. And what a set of performances they've put in, and how good have they been. Now, obviously, when we head into next season, there's a lot of conversations that can be had about the future of the likes of Nat Phillips, the future of the likes of Harrison Armstrong, and what potential transfers Derby County are going to have to make. Now, obviously, a few days ago, I would have done a video talking about the squad depth chart, a lot of the players who are leaving or out of contract, and obviously those loan players returning to their parent clubs, and who could potentially be on the way out of the door who are in contracts. Now, what does John Eustace have to do this off-season to help Derby County move forward? Now, I think the main aim for Derby County this summer has got to be to bring in some wingers, some high-quality Championship wingers, and we already know that there's potential rumours and conversations between Tyrese Dolan and Derby County, although nothing has been confirmed, and it probably won't be for a few weeks yet. I think Dolan would be a good player for Derby County to bring in, and it would start off the off-season, the transfer window, in a really, really good light. Now, for me, that's got to be Derby County's main aim. It's effective wingers and two proper number 9s. Yes, we've got Selverson, but for me, we need to bring in a couple more and then make a decision on Dejan Brown. Now, I'll have a video about Dejan Brown out at some point over this week. It might already be out, actually, because I think that Derby County have a massive opportunity here to build their squad into what can be sort of a top-end Championship squad with a top-end Championship manager, where those young players can come in and thrive. But ultimately, I think it's going to need a loan spell first, and that's a conversation which John Eustace is going to have with whoever the under-21s coach is at the minute. I know at the moment Jake Buxton has been working with the senior squad, and whether it's his number 2, Briggsy, who's taken over or not, I'm not entirely sure, or whether Bucko has been doing games on the side. But you can obviously let me know if you do know down in the comments. I do think that that's going to be a massive discussion. The likes of Cruz Allen, the likes of Niall McAndrew, I think Luke Banks, I think he'll be able to go out on loan next season. I do think that a lot of those younger players need to be given sort of the opportunity to go out and play football. I think what Derby County haven't done well in the past is giving them the opportunity to play football when they're 17, 18, and I think that's what Derby County need to do. I think Harry Hawkins went out on loan this season. I think there's been a fair few others. A couple of the goalkeepers have been out on loan as well, and I think that's the right thing for Derby County to do as we sort of move forward into this next step of Derby County's progression, essentially. Now, David Clowes came in with a 5-year plan. We're 3 seasons into that. We've secured a promotion. We've survived in the Championship. What is next? What are the next 2 years looking like for Derby County? Because I believe we're funded for another 2 seasons under David Clowes, whatever happens with investment. So that sort of opens the door to what is in the final 2 years of David Clowes' 5-year plan. Is it to stabilise Derby County as a mid-table outfit? Or is it to push Derby County to be that sort of top-end option where we're going to be pushing for potential playoffs or pushing for promotion in 2 seasons' time? And obviously, as it stands right now, I think financially, I don't think we have the capabilities to push for promotion, especially not automatic. Maybe we can push to be on the back end of the playoffs with perfect recruitment, but obviously I wouldn't want to sort of guarantee any sort of perfect recruitment. When you look at some of the recruitment we've done recently, you look at the likes of Caden Jackson and Ben Osborne, it's not quite gone to plan, has it, with them? And obviously you look at some of the injuries we've picked up as well. So there's a lot that's got to be worked on for Derby County. I think first off, we need to sort out the medical department. We've obviously brought in Lee Bromby as an interim for this summer transfer window. There's obviously ongoing investment talks going on behind the scenes that need to be dealt with. And that's something which I think Derby County could do very well. We're obviously going to have to wait and see what the plan is from John Eustace and how he intends to take Derby County forward before we really have proper conversations about like transfer plans and things like that, because you look at the squad in a 3-5-2 and you need a ton of players. You look at the squad in a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, whatever you want to call it, and obviously then what you need completely changes. So there's going to be big conversations. I think John Eustace is going to look for versatility. He's obviously going to look for quality, and I think that is going to come in abundance. I've got a lot of praise to give out to John Eustace, and I think there's a lot that he can do across the course of this summer with obviously previous clubs he's worked at, potential free agents as well. We've obviously spoke earlier this week about Harrison Armstrong, and I think it was last week we spoke about Nat Phillips and the potential opportunities to bring them back, which I think for Derby County are going to be massive conversations to have. Now, obviously, when it comes to what's next, a lot of it, and you'll probably have put this in the comments already before you've got to this part of the video, but a lot of it is going to be based on whether we get investment, whether David Clough sells a percentage of the club. It's going to depend on fundage. If we don't have fundage, we're going to have problems in the transfer window because, again, we're going to be scraping the barrel for players, one, many won't have heard of, and two, we're going to be looking at the free agents and loan market again. It's going to be the back end of the free agent and loan market when all the clubs with money have picked up their players. And I'm not saying we need to go and compete with Southampton, Leicester and Ipswich, but I'm also saying that we should, at this point, we need to start putting some proper money into the squad and into the building to sort of get the right players in, and sort of John Eustace and Bromby will probably be working on that Monday morning. Like, they'll come in on Monday, they'll have the recruitment staff in, they'll have the board in, and I think it'll be a full day looking at players and recruitment and sort of where we're going to go with this club and where he wants to go in terms of formation and style of play, because in my opinion next season is going to be very different to the one we've had this year, and I think there's going to be a lot of conversations and maybe uncomfortable conversations with some players about the way we're going to look forward next year and how that's going to look under John Eustace. Now, there's a lot of conversations to be had, there's a lot of talks to be had, and the fan base can do so much speculating, and I'll obviously be a part of the speculation, do not get me wrong. I'll be talking about every single transfer link, I'll be talking about every single player who may even potentially be on the way to Derby County, every player who could potentially be on the way out, and I think there's some brilliant opportunities for Derby this summer. And with John Eustace as manager, do I think John Swift, Carlon Grant would have turned Derby County down with John Eustace in charge? Absolutely not. Do I think Kelechi Iheanacho would have turned us down? No. Was it Danny Gomez from, I think it was he at Villarreal? I think, Real Valladolid, whatever. Do I think he'd have turned Derby County down? No. Like, I think there's so many situations under Paul Warne where players turned us down, probably even in the summer window that we didn't hear about, where you're heading now into a window with arguably the best manager in the Championship out of all the managers in the league. And people can argue with that, and I'm happy to hear the arguments. But you've then got, if we have a decent budget as well, best manager in the league, Premier League quality facilities, ground and training ground, top quality academy for those young players that haven't been offered scholars at United, Chelsea, City, etc. And then you've got what could be a really good season in the Championship next season. But it all comes based on what we can bring in. And that's going to be the massive conversation for Derby County over the course of the next few weeks. Now, if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments on what Derby County need to do heading into 2025-26. John Eustace has got a massive role to play, and there will be a season review out Friday, 6 p.m. I'm recording this a bit early because I'm away for my birthday, so let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'll get back to all your comments when I return from holiday. The season review will be out later today, so if you have not done so already, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and I'll catch you in my next one.